From VentureX Studios, it's JP, Kathy, and the crew.
Let's see, I can't hear you.
Oh, now my microphone's on.
You
Can you hear us
on.
now?
Why? Why did you turn her
Wow,
on?
you just ruined JP's morning.
And Grogu, eat the unicorn.
Nope.
Grogu, eat the unicorn.
No, that's bad luck. No. Good
Okay,
morning,
girl.
Dr. Good.
So ask Dr. Be Good.
Morning, all.
Talk to us real quick about the money.
Special edition.
Well, so on late Wednesday, we got a notice from PEA that effective that day, Wednesday, districts and open enrollment schools in Texas may apply to receive the allocation of $11.2 billion appropriated to the state of Texas for public education purposes under the American Rescue Plan Act through the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund, which is ESSER 3. Now, the ESSER 2 funds have not been released. Way too many strings on those. They haven't figured it out. But they finally, I say finally, it felt forever and then it felt fast, right? That all of a sudden, here comes the announcement after we've been talking for a week that we didn't know when we were going to get the money. And now all of a sudden, boom, it's out here. And as of yesterday, we could go into the correct website and start looking at the grant application. Because what happens is that now districts go in and they create a NOGA, sort of a grant application. They have to fill out what they're going to use the money for. And then it has to go to the service center to be approved by their fund experts. And then if they like it, then we're given permission to start using those funds, right? And then after that, by the way, later on down the road, we have to give the receipts or we have to show the evidence of the fact that we used the money the way we said we were going to use the money. So you have some curiosity about how much money, for example, Dallas ISD is going to make or get. I should not say make, get. This is why this was so important. $542 million, almost $543 million of federal funds. Okay, that's $500 million that's going down. Plano, $43 million too. Even Little Wiley, $6,700,000. You don't think that's going to make a difference in these districts?
Oh, huge.
Sure. It's impact money.
My district, my district of 600 kids got $4 million. You don't think that's going to make a difference? It's huge.
Impact money. I call it impact money. That's going to make a huge impact on what schools are doing and going to be able to do from an operation standpoint, even from a curriculum standpoint. You could buy portables if you needed them. You could buy chairs or desks.
Yes. Here's what they're cautioning us not to do, and that is to buy personnel because it's limited funds, right? It'll run out. And so I worked for Dallas I had many years, and if you were paid with grant funds, you never had assurance that your job was safe. And so, people didn't want to understand that, even though they may have signed off on it at the beginning of their employment. When the grant funds ran out and they were, in essence, let go, they were not happy people. So we're being asked to not, use it to hire personnel unless absolutely necessary. And you've both been in the school business long enough to understand. That means that there's going to be a huge scramble for vendors, for retired teachers, which we do have permission, by the way, to use retired teachers this summer without it impacting their TRS.
Good.
And then substitutes. It's going to be a real scramble because for us to be able to correctly by having small group instruction, interventions, buying some high impact, as you call it, curriculum, maybe curriculum resources, it's going to be a madhouse of putting in orders, purchasing, hoping it gets in time to affect summer school at the beginning of the school year. So it's nice to have that money, but there's huge implications of time and effort that go with it, over and above understanding how to spend it correctly, right?
Right.
Right.
How getting permission to spend it that way, and then fulfilling the plan with the right amount of personnel and vendors. That's our true challenge, whether you're Dallas IC or Little Legacy. But it was good news, and thank you for letting me share.
You bet. Breaking news. Yeah, I mean, that's a big story follow-up, so we appreciate that. And we will see you on Sunday morning at 8 a.m.
Sounds good. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Good. All right,
Have
there
a good
you
day.
go. The money is being dispersed, and the dash
That's good
is
stuff.
on.
That's good
I
stuff.
wonder if FedEx and UPS will hire more people.
Why?
Get deliveries out. They're going to be ordering desks, chairs. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that you can order for your physical plant that you may not have been able to order in the past to help make up for things. I know a couple of charter schools that have bought portables.
Yep.
They've purchased storage units. There's all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I'm sure COVID-friendly stuff like the plexiglass stuff, all that kind of stuff. I mean, this is the right thing. And just, I was glad to see and I was actually helping produce Dr. Good's show when she got this news. I mean, she was, literally announcing it to her staff via her phone when she and I hooked up when this announcement came through. And my thing was, you know what? I'm really glad that the powers that be, the folks who are in charge, didn't decide to use this as a political football to say, for example, you've got, a Dem in the White House and then you've got in a red state like us, we've got the governor and lieutenant governor are Republican. So I was glad to see that you didn't have a tug of war and people making it more difficult to get this money to the schools that desperately need it.
Well, and of course, as you heard her say, there was a process. I don't know if there was any politics injected in the process, because who knows what the battle was, because there was a battle somewhere.
Oh, somewhere somebody said something, but then I hope somebody decided that the term "for the children" would not be a good thing to go against right now.
Well, and it's going to be interesting to see how that grant application process plays out and when the money gets deposited.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to...
gets distributed, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, you can be approved, and then you can wait. Oh, goodness, there's been grant writing teams that I've served on, and sometimes we've waited up to a year to get the funds. Now, I wonder if it's one of those things, especially like with a vendor. And you're a vendor for school districts. Your software truancy program is. So I wonder if there's a process where... you've got those funds, you can allocate X amount of dollars. I can allocate $250,000 for this particular vendor, for this particular service. And if there's some kind of agreement, if the money takes a while to disperse to the schools, to the charter schools, to the ISDs, then I wonder if there's something that can be agreed upon that, hey, you're going to get this on this date. Can we start services now?
Well,
again, we need to get these kids
right?
back in school and working and learning and all that good stuff.
As a vendor, and we're a dual vendor, by the way,
right.
So we have professional development and consulting
right.
services, and then we've partnered with Project Education to create Project Truancy.
Yep.
Here's what's nice about us, though, is that we actually qualify for title money.
Right.
So federal money
right.
already coming in because we are a program that helps at-risk kids who are struggling. And so, I don't know if our segment of the vendor world will be as rabid as others. It's like Dr. Good said, they're recommending don't use this for personnel. And of course, because personnel runs out, like Fred said, his wife worked under a grant for the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation.
Mm-hmm.
And every 2 years she would be furloughed for a day or two till the grant
came back through.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, it's interesting to see how that's going to all play out.
Right. Well, and then I think it depends on how much money you've received, because some of these, I mean, it's a drop in the bucket, and it's not going to make that much of a difference at the end of the day. But then there are school districts that have had substantial funding, because I looked through that list. Well, she sent it to both of us. And I mean, there's some significant dollars. Now, you can always then you move the money around. Well, okay, we've got this money that's coming in. so we can put it for this service. That means that opens up money over here that we thought we were going to have to spend for raises for staff, hiring new staff, for things like that.
Well,
so,
and
you know,
my
it just kind of depends
curiosity-
on how you can be smart about it.
Well, my curiosity is going to be as well, and I meant to ask this question: does Robin Hood apply to this? So when I get that $43 million, do I need to put aside, you know, my allocation to Robin Hood out of that $43 million?
You know what? If Dr. Good's back on the line, that's a great question. That's a good question to
I don't-
ask her Sunday
well,
on the
she's
show.
on here.
I mean, like if she's on, sometimes she'll hop on our social media
Right.
feeds. That's a
But
good.
I'm
that's
curious.
A good, I
It's
would
income.
I would want to say and say hopefully not, because
Well,
this
yeah,
is
me too, but-
specific. But then I would never assume anything
Well,
like that.
my
because everybody's always
understanding-
got their hands out.
Right. And my understanding is on the stimulus checks, you still have to pay taxes, right? Or are those tax free?
That's a good question.
Latham, do you remember that? Do you know the answer to that? I think so too. I think you have to claim it as taxes. I think you,
I think I would assume
when I remember,
so.
and so I think it's funny that I'm taxing the money that
that we're giving
is the
you,
tax
that we're
money
helping you,
that I'm giving back
which
to myself.
is the money that I originally gave to you, so you could give it back
So
to
isn't
me.
that taxation without representation?
Yeah.
We'll ask Latham, our very constitutional expert.
There's a little,
I think there's a
reason
loop.
why America started, and it might be something called taxation
I
without
think there's a
representation.
loop. I think we should start a whole new Alamo issue and start dropping like salsa or something.
What?
Yeah, instead of tea bags into the Boston harbor, I think we should start
So
dropping.
the Tea Party.
Yeah, we start dropping salsa in like the Riverwalk or something as our protest.
I think they're going to frown upon the salsa, because what about the fish?
They'll enjoy it. It's fresh.
No,
It's not
too,
canned.
No, they
It's
can't
fresh
handle
salsa.
That.
We won't put avocado. Does that
They
make you feel
can't-
better?
They can't.
We'll keep the
handle
guac out.
that.
We'll keep the guac out.
No, guacamole I think would be safer than salsa.
I wouldn't.
All the
Guacamole's
peppers and
heavy.
everything?
Oh, you're just too much.
No.
You know what would be
no.
funny?
Environmentalists, please help us.
You know what
out.
would be fun? Oh, really? You're reaching out to the environmentalists? You hear this, right, Latham?
Yeah,
you hear
because
this.
I know so many of them follow our show.
Well, yeah. So, but here would be funny. You know, do you remember the movie? Was it Raining with Meatballs or something?
Oh, Sunny with a Chance of Meatballs or something
How
like that.
much-
Cloudy with a Chance of
Cloudy.
Meatballs.
How much
Yep.
fun would it be to be able to sit on the edge of the Riverwalk and dip your chip in to guacamole or salsa?
Because when I was with the Young Republicans, things were done in that river that nope, can't get that out of my mind.
Well, I love this. Marvin
Just
says.
saying.
Marvin says, "Nope, it is not. It's taxation without reparation." That's
What? Who
funny.
said that?
Marvin did.
Marvin. He's got his comedian hat on
That's
today.
funny. Yeah, Gail said we could do packets, salsa packets. There you go. See, we just
No,
dump
because
salsa
it's still
packets.
it's the spiciness and with the fish
But it's
and
a
with
packet,
everything.
though. It's a packet. Fish don't have thumbs. They can't open the packet.
No, but it's gonna seep through.
It's plastic. It doesn't. It's not biodegradable.
Oh, please! No,
You're calling the police?
no.
What?
Please,
Oh, now you want some cheese with your police?
No,
No.
no.
Okay. That's good. enough.
please, oh please.
So here's the big question. Here's
What
the
is
big
that?
question. How much do the American people put up with before they finally say enough is enough?
According to some of my friends that I've literally had conversations with since the State of the Union speech, there are people who are they're just done. They have said enough. They have said enough.
You know, because in all seriousness, when you think about it, right, and it help me out here, it doesn't make any sense to me. We send out these checks, these stimulus checks, which supposedly 85% of Americans received a stimulus check. I have a question. Latham, did you get a stimulus check? Okay,
I
he
was
got
going
the
to say
first one.
I got one of them. Now
You got one of them?
I think yeah. I remember getting one. I want to know. Also, I've heard that now, and I'm like, okay, well, sign me up if they're giving out money, which it's not.
Well,
free.
it's your money. I mean,
Well, yeah, if they're
give you back some of your
my
money.
Now, if you have a child at home, you're going to get $300 a month while Biden's president. I'm like, so let
Yeah.
me get this straight. So
Yeah.
the federal government is paying me child support now?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to bring that one up to you the other day.
Yeah. No, I saw that. I also saw
And
the
I'm like,
permanent.
is that
Did you see
real?
the permanent unemployment? What in the hell is permanent unemployment? Can somebody help me here?
It's called.
What is permanent unemployment?
It's called. You can just kick back. You don't have to work.
Yeah, but how does that work though?
It
Hi,
doesn't.
my name
it
is
doesn't.
Jumpin' Joe Mouthwatering. Can't wait to
Yeah,
fill your
it-
bank
it
account and
doesn't
empty
work.
everybody else's
It
bank
doesn't
account.
work.
Eddie Haskell Biden.
Yep.
And here's some money that we're going to give you permanently so you don't have to ever get a job. Did you read the article by any chance from restaurants?
Michelle says, "What the what?" I know.
Yeah. Did you by any chance see the article from restaurants and read or hear the interview with the Texas Restaurant Association president in regards to, hey, folks, please be kind to your restaurant owners. We appreciate your business. We love your business.
Right.
We are trying to hire employees, but they're either staying home because they're getting paid more by unemployment, or they've changed paths because of the pandemic to go into another field. They can't get the food out in a reasonable time. A lot of restaurants,
Because there's
no
a
staff.
shortage. Have you noticed on everywhere literally everywhere I've been walking where there's, multi-use, or retail or whatever the case may be, or driving, it's hiring.
Well, everybody's hiring.
Literally my son, he's like, I can't wait for the last day of school. He said, I think I'll be working by that Saturday. Like on Friday, after the last day of school, he's heading out for interviews and, applying
Plenty of
online.
jobs.
And, now he's hoping to get at a certain coffee shop, get a gig so he can work early morning and all that kind of good stuff, and still do his band stuff at night. I was like, I don't think, like last summer I was like, oh my gosh, this is his first summer to actually be able to have a job and all this kind of good stuff. And we were very fortunate that he did find a job in retail during COVID.
Right.
This summer, I'm like this time last year, I was like, how's he going to not have that first experience? And what's he going to do for his own spending money, this, that, and the other? And now I'm like, I think you're going to have your pick. You've got a coffee chain that you're going to look for employment. I think out of 10 places, probably 5 places will say, we'll take you.
Well, hired right now on the spot.
Yeah.
Michelle said, and this is very insightful of her. Thought they were going to ask Kathy for all the condiment packets back. Now, come on, now that's
that
funny.
would be said. She knows.
You got the zombie apocalypse Ziploc bag.
I've got the big old storage bag.
By the way, it's the vacuum seal one.
Just Whataburger ketchup.
Just Whataburger ketchup.
Because that's ketchup
Where's
in
the
a whole
Taco?
different
Where's the
class.
Taco Bell hot sauce?
No. I used to. I had to break
I
myself
love
of
the
that
Taco.
habit.
You know, I buy the bottle at the store.
Oh, how funny you do!
I do. I like the Taco
that's
Bell
funny.
hot
I've
sauce.
never tried the big
I
bottle.
like that.
Yeah, I like I do like their mild salsa. But lately, I just can't do Taco Bell anymore.
Oh, I don't eat there.
Too greasy for me.
It just tastes nasty.
But see, isn't it like sacrilege to put Taco Bell sauce on on your own home burrito?
Oh, heck no. That's why they sell it in a bottle.
Yeah.
Now, it's sacrilege if you open up a packet and do it. You got to go buy the bottle.
Okay.
The bottle's made for home.
All right. I did notice the other day, now they didn't have my favorite flavor, but Buffalo Wild Wings, and I love their Thai curry wing sauce, but I noticed Buffalo Wild Wings at one of the stores I went to had like 7 or 8 of the flavors that you could purchase. And I'm like, of course, they've got 7 or 8 of them, and not the one I like.
Do you remember about 10 years back when the internet picked up every recipe that all the restaurants had that you loved, like to make the cheese biscuits from Red Lobster?
Oh, which those are good.
Remember that?
There is actually a mix for those in the grocery store.
Right,
now.
but they all went out there. The Arby's sauce, how to make your own Arby's sauce.
Oh, I didn't see the Arby's
It's
sauce.
all out there.
I love Arby's.
It's all out
Arby's
there.
Sauce and their horsey sauce,
Yeah.
that horseradish sauce.
Yeah. Fred Nort says the hot sauce is about the only good thing about Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. And I used to be like,
Agreed.
college, literally, that was my favorite fast food place. Up until just the last couple of years, like if I eat there, and it may be because I'm getting older and everything causes heartburn, but I'll like take a few bites and I'm like, I'm like,
well, Taco
it's
Bell just
not-
sucks. I mean, it tastes like manufactured food.
Well, it
like
is, isn't
doesn't,
it?
Well, yeah, I'm sure. It's like
mean-
compressed cardboard with the flavoring of what a flour tortilla tastes like. Yeah, and Taco Bell, by the way, don't call me. PepsiCo, call me, and we'll put you on as advertiser. Don't call me Taco because you're just nasty.
But isn't Taco
That's
Bell part
nasty
of
high
PepsiCo?
school food. Well, yeah, PepsiCo can call me. That's why I said that, not Taco Bell.
And PepsiCo, who else under that? Is it, I think it's like Pizza Hut, Taco Bell. There's a number of them.
Oh, you've got Doritos. I mean, it's and PepsiCo's part of
you've seen some of the
Frito-Lay
ones,
and all
some
that.
of the ones that are half and half. Like the restaurant is half Long John Silver's, half
A&W
like
root beer.
A&W root beer or something, or half.
That's someplace. I haven't been to Long John Silver's in like 15 years.
You know what's funny? My husband, now he's lost.
I haven't been there.
Lost a ton of weight lately, but he used to treat himself because literally he loves Long John LJS Long John Silver. He would just let himself have one day, one order of Long John Silver's a year. Now he didn't. This past year he didn't even have it. So yay, Michael!
I love the little crunchies. Does Michael love the little crunchies?
Yeah, well, and he's a big
crunchy guy.
Fish and chips and
the
vinegar,
balsamic vinegar. Oh yeah.
Not
balsamic. I mean the malt vinegar.
Yeah, the kind
malt.
you know the kind.
It's
the
malt
special
vinegar.
kind that goes with that.
Yeah.
And big fan of that. But he would like eat it, and then he'd be so like the whole. You've talked about this when you're losing weight, a food hangover the next day.
Oh God,
like
yes.
you're like, oh, and he was like, oh my gosh, it's like the most miserable you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, Long John Silver's.
And then what happened to Taco Bueno? Has
They're
everybody
there.
know? Very few of them.
Well, okay,
oh,
go.
Very few.
No. Go. Start going on 380 going
Okay.
west.
Maybe
There
they're
are
in certain
like 8 of them.
in Collin County. Very few, and
Well,
they used to have them.
You got to get on 380.
Yeah,
Because at 380 in Custer, there's a Taco Bueno.
No,
at 380
not here,
in
not
like
here.
Coit. Well, that's Collin County.
They have shut down
The one in
at
Plano
least-
on Spring Creek.
Yep.
And they shut down the one at
There's just several.
the one on Avenue K in Parker's still there.
and the one at Parker and Independence.
Right. And then the one in McKinney's still there.
but
they're opening
outside-
new ones down new highways.
I'm talking down in North Texas, in Richardson. There's just in Allen. There's several places where
Allen never had a Taco Bueno.
Yeah, they did.
Where?
Yeah, they did down off. I think they did off
Allen
of Main
did.
Street. I think so.
Main Street and what? Because I lived there and I
Over
drove
off
there.
McDermott, I think. What, like where Panda Express and all that is now? Wasn't there a Taco Bueno there a long time
Allen
ago?
Allen never had a Taco Bueno.
Well, I'm going to go with JP on where he knows where those fast food places are. I'm going to go with you on that.
I do.
But I thought there was one there.
This is fast food made. I mean, hello.
Well, but I'm saying I preferred Taco Bueno to Taco Bell.
Mom and Dad did too.
And I'm wondering if Taco Bueno, I wonder if like the Rusty Tacos of the world and the Torchy's Tacos and the Fuzzy's Tacos that have all become ginormously popular, if you think about it, you only pay a few more dollars and it's more of a quote unquote restaurant quality Tex-Mex experience. I wonder if that had anything to do with it.
Well, you got Rosa's that's opened up. I mean, the competition's gotten very busy.
I just wonder because Taco Bell, like you said, it's in that cheap, it's easy, quick, cheap. You can,
Well, see, I think
go there and
Taco
get
Bell's
a ton of stuff.
owned the market. I think they've really made a huge impact on the market. But again, you got a lot of competition that's opened up too. But Taco Bueno is not dead because they've opened. Like I said, if you go drive down 380,
so you're talking north,
380
like in the
west.
Denton County?
No, I'm talking Collin County. There's a brand new Taco Bueno at 380 in Custer.
Yeah, see.
And there's another one like 2 miles down the road in Collin County.
See, I've got a
then in
Taco
Denton
Bell
County, then in Denton
walking
County.
distance practically from my house, and I always think I wish it was Taco Bueno.
What it
instead.
seems like they've done is
You
they've
know.
abandoned the inner neighborhoods and they're only on main thoroughfares. That's what it seems like. Spring Creek one shut down, inner neighborhood.
Okay, so
Avenue K and Parker Road, main
so because
thoroughfare,
Taco
Highway
Bell,
5.
like it seems like Taco Bell and McDonald's are still on every single street corner.
Yeah.
But you're right, but
Right.
it's not a main thoroughfare, but it's on your way home from work or to work
Right.
or whatever the case may be. And so we have sat here and we didn't even plan to talk about this.
We didn't.
Imagine that. But it's Friday, so we're having some fun.
It's Friday.
And then we've got Lathan's going to be coming on to tell us about a First Liberty victory. Very excited about that, but we still have to talk menthol cigarette ban.
Well, you've got 2 minutes.
Oh, doggone it. Well, then,
And we got to talk draft.
yes. So we've... And
Now,
this-
is Latham going to stand or is he going to sit?
Oh, no, he's bringing a chair over. right?
Lathan's had to bring his own chair?
Come on over.
Where's Nathaniel?
Watch out for the cord. You may have to lift it up over
Nathaniel,
that.
you better come help him. Cameras
Okay,
are
so
about to
this
get
is
destroyed.
something. This is a conversation
it's going down.
that we
You've
might
let
not
a
be able
lawyer
to
move. What are you doing?
Yeah, we don't want a lawsuit. We might have.
You went there. That was
this, okay,
funny.
so this is a
that
conversation.
was funny. Don't let that go.
I didn't
that was
listen.
funny.
I didn't hear it.
You said lawsuit. He goes, there's a lawsuit. That was funny.
Just came into my head. Okay, so this is a serious discussion now. I don't know. Let's have this even with Lathan for a little while. This is don't put your First Liberty hat on yet. Don't put it on yet. But
put your Latham hat on.
FDA commits to evidence-based actions aimed at saving lives and preventing future generations of smokers. Efforts to ban menthol cigarettes, ban flavored cigars, build on previous flavor ban and mark. And I didn't realize this until after we spoke. This has been a movement for a while. So menthol's like the only, I guess there were other flavored cigarettes before. But anyway, so this is something that's kind of been coming down, but with the Biden administration, this is a huge new push for them. So, and this is a quote from, I'm reading here this is off the FDA's website. There's tons of articles on this. And this is a quote. Banning menthol, the last allowable flavor in cigarettes, and banning all flavors in cigars will help save lives, particularly among those disproportionately affected by these deadly products. With these actions, the FDA will help significantly reduce youth initiation, increase the chances of smoking cessation. Is that the correct pronunciation?
Yeah,
among current smokers, and address health disparities experienced by communities of color, low-income populations, the LGBTQ plus individuals, all of whom are far more likely to use these tobacco products. Now, see, why isn't that racist right there?
Which part? Tell me again.
That whole part that I just mentioned, that whole part, said acting FDA Commissioner Janet Woodcock, and she's a doctor, MD. Together, these actions represent powerful science-based approaches that will have everything science-based. I'm so tired of that term too. Approaches that will have an extraordinary public health impact. Armed with strong scientific evidence and with full support of the administration, Biden's administration, we believe these actions will launch us on a trajectory toward ending tobacco-related disease and death in the U.S. First of all, I'd just like to start off by saying, how'd that work during Prohibition? Because everybody stopped drinking during Prohibition, right?
They did. No, they all behaved. They followed the law.
Sure.
They had their protests. They contacted lawyers.
Talk to my great-grandmother, Peregrina. They didn't stop. That didn't stop drinking.
Well, with a name like Peregrina, I'm afraid she'd break my knees.
She's over from Czech. She came over from Czechoslovakia.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Grandma Peregrina. Oh!
So, seriously. First of all, how is this not a racist movement? First of all, I don't know if it's, you're just assuming that, and I know people, I have a former family member who she smoked menthol cigarettes. That's all she smoked. She's white. So first of all, to make that assumption is ridiculous. And flavored cigars, I mean, isn't that like a college girl in your 20s kind of a thing? I don't know.
Now, Kathy, you got Latham and I both to laugh because now when I puff on my menthol cigar, I'm going to think of me and a woman or girl in her 20s.
Smoking the same. No, it's more like, it's not a menthol cigar. It'd be like a cherry flavored cigar.
You're like a woman in college.
Oh, gosh. No.
That's what you did. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
It'd be more like a cherry or a grape or strawberry banana flavored cigar that college girls.
That would be like eating strawberry banana baby food.
Help me. First of all.
Well, let's ask Latham first.
Yeah, what?
I'm just a loudmouth with an opinion. Let's ask Latham.
Not First Liberty hat. This is just the world according to Latham Watts hat. Thoughts on this?
It's okay. So we're going to do this, and it's going to reduce smoking. No, it isn't. It's going to reduce the amount of people who are smoking menthols. They're just going to smoke something else.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much simpler you can make it. It is a product to deliver nicotine. People who are addicted to nicotine are going to continue ingesting nicotine by whatever means necessary. Just like you said, I mean, it didn't stop people from drinking when you outlawed, when we had Prohibition. One of my favorite stand-up comics from back in the day, Dennis Leary, did like a whole bit about. Back then, there was a guy who wanted to make the warning labels on the cigarette packs bigger, and Larry's whole thing was you could come out with a new product called Tumors, where the whole pack had a skull and crossbones on it, and smokers would be lined up around the block to get their hands on it.
And they'd have a ball cap to match. Yeah,
you're either addicted to nicotine or you're not,
Right.
and you can do what you got to do to kick the habit. Some people don't want to. Okay. You know what?
Yeah.
All this is going to do is it's just going to change the brand of cigarette that people are smoking. That's it.
Well, it goes back to, let's dial it back even a little bit further when they had the full assault on the tobacco companies, which I'm not saying is a bad thing because they did withhold information. They didn't release all of the
Way back
data.
in the day, yeah.
And they got rid of advertising. They weren't allowed to target anymore.
You can't have it in a children's cartoon show.
Go figure.
You can't have SpongeBob SquarePants and then, hey,
They got rid of Joe Camel.
yeah.
Got rid of Joe
Yeah.
Camel.
Yeah.
Because, again, that was attractive to children.
Kids.
Yeah. But I mean,
Then I'm surprised they're not going after vaping. And okay, guess what? These people who like flavored
next.
cigars, that you can get vaping in all these.
maybe the
flavors.
vaping companies are the ones that are in Biden's pocket. You ever thought about that? Could be.
Possibly.
Anyways, my point is that killing their advertising didn't kill the tobacco companies.
No.
All the
No, of course not.
lawsuits, the billions of dollars paid out didn't kill the tobacco companies. This is not going to kill the tobacco companies. I don't know what we're trying to accomplish.
You cannot fight consumer demand.
You cannot.
You can't do it. If there's a demand for the product, it will sell.
And
you don't,
again,
you don't have
you
to
Whether
ban
ban it.
legally
it?
or illegally, we have
That's
found
exactly
that.
right.
Thank you. Again, I go way back. I mean, we've got historical proof. Prohibition, and everybody was all up in arms, and oh my goodness, and alcohol, and this, that, and the other.
I can
blah,
give you
blah,
another
blah.
example. You remember several years ago, and I don't even remember the cause of it, but gas prices around here got up to like $5 a gallon one
right.
summer.
Yeah, that was
You know what the
ridiculous.
number one selling vehicle in America that year was? The Ford F-150.
Of course it was.
So there you
It
go.
gets about 15 miles to the gallon. I drove one at the time.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot
Yeah, it didn't
legislate
encourage me to buy a
people
Prius.
into buying electric cars.
Yeah, I was gonna say, JP, what are you driving?
I'm
Is
driving
that
a
big old
Cadillac
SUV?
Escalade.
Yeah, exactly.
The large version, by the way. I bought the extended back end.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm getting ready to buy an F-250, because I need that, right? Like a hole in the head. I'll
Yeah.
get 7 miles to the gallon.
Oh.
You're buying it out of spite. Try to make me buy an electric vehicle. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm
I'll
gonna
show
get
you what
the
a Prius
F-250.
looks like. That's
Yeah.
right, exactly.
I'm going to burn diesel.
all day.
all day.
You know
All
what?
day.
This is interesting. Okay, so this proposed ban. So I was just wondering about the vaping and the e-cigs and everything. The proposed ban would likely, and this is out of People magazine, not the FDA, would likely
The hard
include
news.
yeah. flavored cigarettes and cigarillos, but not e-cigs. So it's interesting.
Vanity Fair.
I know. Well, but I always get resources from like what's Joe Public reading? People. They're not going to the FDA's website and looking something up
Well,
like we are.
nowadays people are. After the CDC shambles with COVID-19, I mean, people are actually reading more, I think.
Yeah, they're saying that menthol cigarettes, and this is the People magazine article, have been pushed on the black communities in the United States more than other groups. Black smokers choose menthol cigarettes like those from Newport and Cool 85% of the time, 3 times more than white smokers, according to the FDA. The cigarettes are more addictive and harder to quit. So my thing is, okay, do we not just want to save everybody and just ban cigarettes?
Well, if I don't remember...
I'm saying that tongue in cheek.
Well, yes, I know. But if I remember correctly, the menthol cools weren't aimed at the black community. The advertising campaigns were
Was that
slender
chick?
women
I was gonna
with
say
the summer hats, with the skinny cigarettes.
or was
doing
that
this
no? That was
stuff.
Virginia Slims.
It was also it was both.
Did Cool do that?
Yes, Cool did that as
I gotta
well.
look that up. I see.
And
I thought
so-
Cool was kind of more a chick. Well, just like Jules, we talked about this with the whole vaping. Is aimed towards teenage girls.
Yeah.
I mean, even the name of it, Jewel.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on.
Well, let's jewel our way over to the jewel of our constitutionality.
Hey, one more thing on the whole tobacco issue, just because it's a favorite of mine. There's a really great political satire movie called Thank You for Smoking. It's not one you want to watch with your kids. There's a couple of scenes I'd recommend skipping, but I think it's based on a book by Chris Buckley, William F. Buckley Jr.'s kid.
Right.
Just killer political satire movie about a tobacco lobbyist.
Right.
and I mean, great cast. It's one of my favorites. One of those little movies like people have either never heard of it or they're completely obsessed with it, like political dorks like me. Yeah.
Right.
But on the tobacco issue, it's an entertaining use of a couple hours.
Okay, that's good to know, especially with all this going on.
Yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff that came out. What about early 2000s, mid 2000s?
Well, when I was in law school, so I was at Ole Miss 98 to 01.
Yeah, so that's about right.
And because it was the Attorney General of Mississippi who partnered with a private firm to bring the first big tobacco litigation.
Right.
And it was actually a pretty, I mean, whether or not you agree with it, it was actually a pretty ingenious legal theory because he actually sued the tobacco companies on behalf of the state, saying that they were running up the state's Medicare and Medicaid costs for all the smoking-related illnesses.
Right.
So he didn't go because they had always won on when smokers they'd find somebody who had cancer to sue the tobacco companies, and the tobacco companies were like, well, you knew what you were getting into when you did it. Like you assumed the risk when you took it. And so he sued on behalf of the state, saying what the state ends up paying in Medicare and Medicaid and treating all of these things, you're the reason that our costs are up.
Right.
And I think at the time, I didn't know him well, but I think he was like a year or two ahead of me in school. His dad was the guy, was a trial attorney that partnered with, it was Mike Moore, I think, was the Attorney General of Mississippi to bring that litigation. Interestingly enough, I think he took it on contingency. So the guy in private practice
Wow.
made a few dollars.
made a few bucks.
Wow.
Made a few dollars. Let's put it this way. He won't be worrying about where Christmas comes from for a while.
Right.
That's for sure. Well, here we are. I'll tell you, Latham, we have run ourselves right up to 8:40.
All right.
We've got Chuck Wright coming on at 8:45. So let's hit this hard.
Yep.
And we're going to,
Let me do it
Kathy
quick.
and I are going to do this.
Got it.
Exhibit.
We're throwing the key away.
Well, I was thinking, I can't remember if last Friday when I filled in, if we talked about the nativity scene case up in Delaware.
No, we did not.
So Christmas came early for Delaware. Okay. The Knights of Columbus, who's our client up there, since the 1930s has put up a creche at Christmas time along like the boardwalks in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, where our current president used to hide out in his basement during the campaign, one of his houses.
Right.
Okay. Since the 1930s, they had done this. And then like 2 years ago, the city council decided, no, we can't have a creche at Christmas time. And so we represent the Knights of Columbus and, had to sort of threaten to go to litigation, and we're sort of in a litigation posture, but we were able to finally sort of get everybody to the table and resolve it, get to yes. And so the creche will be back this Christmas. And it's due in part to our Supreme Court win with the Bladensburg Peace Cross, because the Supreme Court said if there's a history and tradition of something that's presumed constitutional. So they didn't really have a legal leg to stand on. So that's a nice win. It's a good win for something, like I said, that's been going on since the 1930s up there. And then I'll give one other just little kind of quick update. And I don't know if I've even talked about this case on here before, but we represented a lady named Gail Blair up in Rhode Island, who was a retired nurse. She was born with like a genetic defect that caused degenerative vision loss, and she eventually went blind.
In both eyes.
Yeah, so
okay.
she couldn't be a nurse anymore. Yeah. She lives right across the street from a park in the little town in Rhode Island where she lived, and she would go every day with her cane to get around, to get into the park. And when people would come by, she would say hello. She would engage them in conversation if they wanted to talk. And if they were willing, she would give them a little pocket copy of the Gospel of John. That was just sort of her
I love that.
means of evangelism.
But she didn't try. I mean, it was if she got into a conversation.
If they weren't interested, they weren't interested.
Right. Okay.
So the city,
nice.
a city government official came over and interrupted her one day, and then the city instituted a 2-year ban from the park. Like tried to keep her from even going
for her.
What?
For her. Yeah, just for her. The park and the library, which is interesting since the library has copies of the Bible in it. Anyway, we were able to win that case for Gail Blair, and assuming the weather is good in Rhode Island, I promise you, she's probably in the park right now. The cool little update is since we got that, and she's been back doing what she's been doing, one of the city government officials that was originally involved in trying to ban her from the park now goes to church with her.
No.
Get out.
The irony.
Oh, I love it.
The Iron
Yeah.
Curtain is stupid.
I
There
love
you go.
it.
That's why we do what we do. You know, when people
Yeah,
of
that's
faith
good
live according to
stuff.
their faith, life gets better for everybody.
That's good
So
stuff.
let me
I
ask
love
you this,
that.
Latham. How would
right.
that transcend across much bigger paths throughout the country? For example,
Sure.
and I know this is a separate issue, separate case, been tried.
Yeah.
They handing out candy canes.
Right.
For when pro-life was doing their thing here in Plano and all that. Would something like that transcend down to that kind of question? Or is that not close enough?
It could. I guess there's the lawyer's answer, right? Well, it depends. With handing out the gospel tract, the Gospel of John, that is a clear free exercise of religion.
Of religion,
Evangelism is part of her faith.
Right.
So it sort of would depend on what is the message that you're trying to distribute. You know, if it is, a deeply held religious conviction of yours and you're handing out maybe a material that is part of that, then maybe so.
And I think they were. I think they were handing out a verse with the candy cane, if I'm not mistaken. And that was part of the argument from the school, was that, hey, you can't practice religion on school grounds.
Right. I mean,
Now, of course, that's been answered.
Yeah, I mean, Tinker versus Des Moines said, students and teachers don't shed their constitutional rights at the schoolhouse gate.
Yeah.
So there's a common misunderstanding about what the Establishment Clause requires, that, if you're on a public school campus, you just can't say anything that, rhymes with Jesus or something like that. But that's just not the case.
Right.
Now, teachers and people in authority have an obligation not to proselytize, not to use their position to advance, to try to convert people to their religion.
Right.
But to say no, you can't pray in school, that's just not true.
Right.
And the sad, and
There's a lot of praying going on before the STAR test.
I was just about to say,
saying.
as long as teachers give pop quizzes, there will always be prayer in school. I promise you.
Sitting right
Lord,
there in the
please
desk.
help me. I didn't read the chapter last night.
Yeah, right there at the desk. They're sitting there and praying. Well, it's also kind of funny on liberal college campuses. Those little atheists and agnostics are sitting there going, okay, I don't believe in you, but could you help me on this test?
Whoever's out there, please help
my
me.
parents going to kick my butt because I'm about to fail this class.
Please, non-existent, omniscient being, empower me with knowledge to pass this test.
Exactly, because they are. I mean, don't let them tell you they're not, because they don't totally believe in what they believe in. That's what's funny about it.
Yeah.
Because they've been brought up differently. Again, it's hilarious. Do we have Chuck with us? Chuck Wright. All right, where is our Marine pilot at? Put him up on the screen. He is on the screen. I don't see him.
Are we going to get his
He's
handsome
connecting to
mug?
audio. Does he not have the video on? Chuck, can you hear us? We've got Marine pilot Chuck Wright with us. We're going to talk about some things that are coming up, very exciting things coming up. We see his name on the screen, but we're not hearing him or seeing him. Well, keep working on that with him, Chambriel, if you would.
Oh, I'm seeing some Zoom meeting and whatnot coming up.
Well, that's just the movement of the cursor.
Oh,
She's playing
gotcha.
with the cursor.
Gotcha.
So let's keep working. We're going to get Chuck right back on here in a little bit, talking gold families,
And we can keep
Gold Star
chit-chatting.
families, and also the golf tournament coming up and the monument. And so a lot going on. So we're going to get Chuck back on here in a second. Anything else out there for religious liberty? I mean, there always is.
Yeah.
But anything that's floated to the top at this point?
Usually around this time of year, we'll be busy with graduation season.
Yes.
Prayer at graduation.
Exactly.
Like valedictorians being able to reference God
Exactly.
and thank God for
and again, it's just
their
most of
gift.
the time it's just a misunderstanding of what the law requires. Sometimes it's somebody with an agenda, but most of the time it's people just being overly cautious because they don't.
Because you are allowed during as a
Absolutely.
valedictorian speech.
That is your
to reference
speech. It
Jesus.
is not the
You
school
earned
district
that
speech.
spot
Right.
So
there.
it's not government
Yep.
speaking on behalf of religion.
And I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with Latham, though. I mean, it doesn't. It's not generally agenda driven. It is just a lack
it's
of
a lot-
knowledge of the law.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
But there is that occasional agenda driven
There
one.
is.
That's the one that'll take us all the way to the
So
Supreme
here we've
Court.
got Chuck Wright with
Chuck
us. Chuck, we
Wright!
can see you. Can we hear you?
I think I'm here.
There you go. Now we can hear you.
Success.
Man, talk
All
to us
right.
about all things veterans. We're excited.
Well, very excited. Frisco is adding a new veteran-owned coffee shop. so we may not be doing Dunkin' Donuts on our normal runs. We may be doing a veteran-owned coffee. It's American Coffee Company.
That's
we'll
good
talk
stuff.
more about it later. But you said all things veteran, and we
You
were
betcha.
throwing
No.
that out
Bring it
this
on,
morning.
brother. Bring it on. These are your
Love
15
it.
minutes.
Love,
And so,
love seeing all the veteranpreneur tribe growing and thriving in the great state of Texas,
That's awesome.
where we have limited government overreach, at least as limited as you get in the country today.
well, for now, anyways. For now, anyways. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Just all I can tell you is start
Yeah, I'm
stocking
not
up
gonna
on
comment
menthol
any
cigarettes.
further.
And that's all I have to say about that today.
So, what do we got
We go
going
off
on,
a
Chuck?
tangent.
We got a lot going
like
on.
You guys do that 3 times a week, so it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Now, we're going to talk about a cause that's very near and dear to my heart that JP, Kathy, and the crew are committed to supporting. And it's Homeless Veteran Services of Dallas, which is one of the best but least publicized veteran service organizations in the North Texas area. And we are throwing a golf tournament. And that golf tournament honors one of the iconic military figures in America, and that's Arleigh Ermey. And for those who don't know the name, he was Gunnery Sergeant Hartman in the movie Full Metal Jacket. And we actually could do an entire segment talking about how he got that role, because he wasn't originally slated to play the drill instructor. He actually convinced Stanley Kubrick by walking in full drill instructor regalia and doing the lines, and Kubrick was blown away because Arleigh was actually a Marine drill instructor, so he was playing himself. Anyway, we're going to throw a golf tournament. It's May 14th. It is one of the funnest golf tournaments going, and that's what I've been told. I'm not a golfer, which is why I got stuck being in charge of it, so everybody else on our group could go play golf. But we have hit the 2/3 mark. We are moving rapidly towards being sold out, so that's exciting news as well. But there's still spots left. You can find us at www.gunnygolf, G-U-N-N-Y, golf.com. We try to keep it real simple because a lot of us are Marines, so we got to keep it simple. Got to do it in crayon font.
Yeah,
we're
you
folks to
say
come
that,
out.
but I'm calling you guys when I'm in
y'all are a
trouble.
mess.
Yeah, you say Crayola.
Kathy, I walked right over you.
Yeah,
No,
you
y'all
walked over
funny,
me this
no.
time. I actually was the big mouth on that one. Yeah, you can talk about your Crayolas all you want, but who we calling when we need out of a bind, buddy?
Amen.
We're calling the Marine Corps.
Well, thank God people are willing to step up
Absolutely.
and serve.
In fact, I joke when people are talking about putting committees or nonprofits together or trying to get stuff done. I said, hey, go find you a Marine gunnery sergeant that's no longer serving in the Marine Corps and put him in charge, because by golly, you'll get stuff done. So that is not a joke at all. I mean, that's very much how we do it. We're just Marines. We don't know any better. In fact, I need to bring the graphic in. It's a Marine rat in a maze, and it's hysterical because the rat just chews from right through all the walls
Just goes
to the
through the
cheek.
wall.
And the tagline is, "If you don't understand, you've never met a Marine." I love that. I love that meme. My life is a series of memes. So
That's good stuff.
we're encouraging everybody to come out. And by the way, it's one thing I didn't mention before. If you want to support the cause, but you're not a golfer and you're not going to come out, we do have a donation button on gunnygolf.com, and you're welcome to make a donation. The Homeless Veteran Services of Dallas, 100% of the proceeds will go to Homeless Veteran Services of Dallas. They have been in operation for over 10 years. They have served 65,000 veterans and their families. Now, they don't just serve the homeless. They have actually created 2 blocks south of the VA hospital. They've actually created the first in North Texas Veteran Resource Center. Still probably the best, the most inclusive. They work with a wide variety of partners. They provide, it's a day shelter, so it's not an overnight facility for our homeless veterans. They provide up to 2 meals a day. They provide laundry facilities, showers. They provide access to computers. They do employment training, they actually do on site both forklift and welding training, and to get people certified to drive a forklift. Forklift drivers are getting anywhere from $15 to $20 an hour to start.
Oh, good.
And the pay
Very
goes up
good.
fairly quickly. But the idea is to help these veterans, get them off the street. Interestingly enough, multiple nonprofits have turned to Homeless Veteran Services of Dallas to look for new employees. And several of them are in management positions. One of them is over at, Jim is over at Achieve. And that's another great nonprofit here in Dallas. We've got some wonderful ones, but Achieve is extremely well run, and it works with, I don't know how to politically correct say this. The term we were using was basically people that are slower learners, they have mental issues and things of that nature. So
and that's a politically correct.
we continue to serve in many ways.
I was afraid of what you were about to say. I'm like, oh no, when Chuck's worried about being politically correct, we're all in trouble. But no, you can say, developmentally challenged or something of that nature is still okay. Yeah, exactly.
I think I've heard that that's changing, by the way.
What?
Developmentally challenged is no longer going to be acceptable.
Okay. What's going to be
It's
acceptable
the
now?
challenged part of it.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're going to make it developmentally something else. Seriously, I've gotten wind that there's pushback on the word challenged. They're not challenged. That's just how they were created. So
because
we're going to find out.
You can't you couldn't say, like, back in the day, like even back in the 90s when I was teaching special education, it was even going to where you weren't using the word retarded any longer.
Well, but what's interesting is mental retardation is still a real thing.
Well, when you're writing and you're doing
Right.
like an IEP or an ARD or
Right.
whatever the case may be, but as far as what you verbally said when
But
you were
isn't that something,
discussing your
though?
children's, so I guess there's going to be a problem with the word challenge.
The problem is with the word
So
challenged.
physically challenged, emotionally challenged, because I know disabled for a while, there was a big knock on saying disabled. There was a big knock on saying handicapped because there was mentally handicapped, physically handicapped,
yeah.
emotionally handicapped. So there's always a knock. I guess it's always on that second word.
Yep, and that's where it's going. Sorry, Chuck.
Interesting.
I'm
So
curious,
anyways.
how many shows have you guys done dealing with political correctness?
Oh, a ton.
goodness.
Yorm Solomon, remember we had him come on, the guru on political
Oh, my
correctness and
goodness.
what it's doing to the country.
Yeah.
Wrote a book on it.
Yeah, just crazy.
So yeah. Well,
Hey,
Chuck, send us
I
out
wanna
with something.
leave- Quick comment on the golf tournament. One of the things we're known for, we have incredible, I've been told by my cigar buddies, hand-rolled cigars for every golfer. We're going to have lunch.
Flavored.
Not 100% certain if it's barbecue this year or something else. We always have a good lunch. It is always a great deal of fun. We are playing Bear Creek West, which had $1 million worth of improvements. It is a great afternoon to kick off Armed Forces Day weekend. Now, in the past, Armed Forces Day has just been a day, but we have decided, we have taken it upon ourselves to declare an entire weekend to support our veterans.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It was a great time. I went last year. I didn't play golf, but I just hung out and ate lunch and got my goodie bag and everything. And it was a blast. And just, it's so great to be around people who love those who served and love our country, so to be around like-minded people, especially during this pandemic time, it just gives you hope. It just gives you hope.
Well, the month of May is Military Appreciation Month.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's one of the most active parts of our practice at First Liberty is defending religious liberty for people in the military. And so you'll be, if you're on our email list, if you get our newsletter, you go to our website, you'll see a lot of stuff about religious liberty in the military during the month of May, because we want
Love
to
it.
capitalize on
Love it.
Military Appreciation Month, because of all people in America whose religious freedom should be protected. It's the people who willingly sign up to potentially die to defend that right for other people.
Amen.
And so to deny it to them is particularly egregious.
Yep. Agree.
And my brother, and I've talked about him, who's still a serving Marine, has been the beneficiary of some of that war, having to have his religious freedoms, and not just his, but his Marines protected. So we appreciate that. I do want to leave the golf tournament. Our invocation will be done by Herschel Woody Williams. And for those who don't know Herschel Woody Williams, Google Woody Williams. He is he's the last surviving World War II Medal of Honor recipient. He is the oldest living Medal of Honor recipient in America. He is everybody's grandfather.
Yeah.
And he is just that man that he is inspiring. He is impressive, and he does great things. And he will be out there joining us to tee it off. So it will be a great time for all of our golfers. Still get a chance to sign up at gunnygolf.com. And that'll end the commercial segment of the show. Although I will do a plug this Saturday. We're going to cover sports figures who've served in the military.
That's going to be a great show. Yeah, so tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Kilroy's Conversation
No,
at
8 a.m. Sorry. 9 a.m. it'll be over. 8 to 9 a.m. Kilroy's Conversation. Great show, and always entertaining and always educational and always supporting our veteran community. And we appreciate you and Andrew Wright so much for that. That's just good stuff.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, you bet. We'll see you next week.
See you in the morning.
All right, so here we go. We got to get it in.
Sports.
We got 32 seconds. The draft.
Knock yourself out.
Latham, you got to join me on
I
this.
didn't even pay attention.
It is impossible for me to care any less about the NFL.
I binge watched on Netflix last night.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't even know the draft was going on. That tells you how plugged in I am.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, because I'm Mr. Plugged In. I love sports. I love all sports.
Has all the magazines.
Yeah, unplugged.
Yeah.
But I'm unplugged. I didn't even know what happened last night.
You want to talk college football, I'm there.
Yeah.
Right, well,
we talk pro football, I'm out.
We've got people that listen and want to hear it, so we're going to talk about it.
Just
for a minute.
You do you.
So the Dallas Cowboys pick up Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State. Why is this such an important pickup? Well, they've retired
Sean Lee.
That's right. And who
was
one of the best, one of the better
amazing
Penn State linebackers as well. And this guy is all of that and the money. He is 246 solid pounds. He is a 4.3 on the 40. He is tough. He is mean. And he's what we need in that linebacker spot. Now, the question is, though, can we either train up our defensive line or can we pick up a few guys that are veterans, like, and I'm going to go old school here, like a Warren Sapp, who are maybe the last 2-3 years, a Howie Long, right? Yeah. At the end of their 2-3 years, pick them up and bring them on that defensive line to help that young linebacking core. That's what the Cowboys need to do because the linebackers are only as good as their defensive line. You know, the defensive line, they're the ones that give the linebackers the opportunity to get all the glory, make the tackles, stop the big runs. And so we can pick up all the great linebackers in the world. If we don't have a defensive line that can handle the offensive line and create those plugs and those holes that require the linebacker or the back to go a different route where the linebacker can react and make the tackle behind the line of scrimmage, it's not going to matter. But the Dallas Cowboys make a good pickup. They pick up Micah Parsons. They've also traded down, and so they've got some more spots in the draft as well. Probably not big shocking news. Jacksonville, number 1 pick out there, picks up Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. You know,
and his hair.
Yeah, but see, you're like,
has a separate contract
for his hair. Right,
Right.
Lloyd's of London has insured his hair.
Right. You know, that's only, of course, out of jealousy because I wish I had his hair. I used to. It's not there anymore. But Trevor Lawrence goes number 1. And again, no surprise there. No surprise.
No, we talked about that during college football season. Yeah.
But Jacksonville's going to have to make a lot more adjustments to make a Trevor Lawrence be a Trevor Lawrence. And we know that as well because Trevor Lawrence was surrounded by talent when he was at Clemson. Zach Wilson, BYU goes to the Jets. No shock there. The Jets have been flailing at the quarterback position forever and 20 years. Here's, to me, the big shocker, right? Trey Lance. I mean, I've watched him this last year.
Where did he go?
North Dakota State. And
No. Who drafted
the San
him?
Francisco 49ers.
Oh,
third.
interesting.
Now, let's talk college football for a minute. Trey Lance has how many national championships? Is it one or two?
At North Dakota State?
Yeah, because I think he played for one here, didn't he?
I don't
know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to.
I didn't know.
He has two.
Any.
He has two.
He
Thanks,
does have two?
Chambriel.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because I mean, this guy's the real thing here. He reminds me of. I'm trying to remember the quarterback. He was a big quarterback, and he came out of a Division III school years ago and made a huge impact on the NFL. And I cannot remember his name now for the life of me. But one of the ones you could also relate to, Randy.
So you think this is
coming
for
out
the
of Marshall.
49ers? This is going to end up being a
I
real,
do. I think that this is a
pleased.
game changer for them. I think they got a great pick in Trey Lance. I think that all the scouts knew what was going on. They'd only given him 3 stars on a 5-star system, and he was the second 3-star to go because Zach Wilson also had only been assigned 3 stars as far as his quality.
And who did he go with?
New York Jets.
Okay.
Number 2. Huh. And so, but Trey Lance with North Dakota State goes to the San Francisco 49ers. You've got Aaron Rodgers clamoring
Now, to me, that's
for a trade.
Yeah, he wants to go to the West Coast.
That's the big news is that he's like, I'm out. I don't want to play at Green Bay another year.
Well, first of all, you would think the arthritis and the ice cold weather would be way bad.
Yeah.
He's got to be coming up on arthritis
Right.
now at this point. And his years are numbered. And playing in that kind of temperatures, that reduces
How old is
your
Aaron Rodgers?
30s, mid-30s, right? 35?
Younger than me.
I was
36,
going to say, hey,
somewhere
look
in
at
there.
Tom Brady. Maybe he'll be another Tom Brady.
Well, he will be,
You
but I
know?
think if San Francisco is smart, you bring an Aaron Rodgers in for a year on this guy's rookie season and let him train like Steve
Young under
Steve
Montana.
Young. That's right.
Yeah.
You know, I think you do the same thing, and then you create a dynasty of championships.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We
so
shall
we'll see.
see.
We'll see. So, but
We will
interesting
see depending
picks.
on how the NFL behaves themselves next season.
Atlanta, as disappointing as ever. They pick up Kyle Pitts, tight end out of Florida. Whoop, whoop, whatever. No impact player there. Cincinnati, Jamar Chase, wide receiver from LSU. Potential. But Cincinnati's going to have to do something with the offensive line. That's why they can't keep good quarterbacks, because their offensive line stinks. And then Detroit, Jalen Waddle at wide receiver from Alabama. They expect him to be like a Calvin Johnson. Calvin didn't win a championship either. Sorry, Jamar. Good luck. Get out of there before your body gets destroyed, because you're their only go-to. So good luck with that. And then to round out the top 10, you've got Miami picks up an offensive lineman out of Oregon. Sewell is the real deal. So I do think this was a quality add to the Miami Dolphins, especially when they've got Tuasa Supahapawapa from Alabama. Yeah, that's how I pronounce his name.
Yeah. Easy for you to say.
Yeah, I know, right? Carolina picks up Horn at cornerback from South Carolina. I don't know. We'll see. Unproven. Played okay at South Carolina. Has 4 stars, but we'll have to see. Denver picks up Patrick Surtain, quarterback from Alabama. That would have been the pickup I would have made if I'd have been Carolina, and I'm picking up a quarterback. I don't know why they went with Horn. I don't know what they saw there. Of course, Surtain comes out with a 5-star ranking, which is no shock. The guy played solid football at the University of Alabama. Big reason why Auburn got shut down.
Yep.
Big reason.
If you can start at Alabama, you're at least 4-star.
And just to make note of that, since we like talking college football, Alabama did have 6 or 7 players go in the first round.
Yep.
Wow.
And
That's
so, again, this
not a
is-
surprise.
well,
that's just not a surprise.
I mean, not everybody does that every year, but,
no, but
Nick
Alabama,
Saban,
yeah.
2017 had 7. This year, I think it was 6.
Amazing.
So,
Wow.
yeah, so Alabama's in
I'm
the
not
top.
a fan of Roll Tide, but you know what? You got to give credit where credit is due. And, you know,
Best
it is
thing-
what it is.
Yeah, best money players combined.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Ooh.
Philadelphia picks up Devontae Smith at wide receiver from Alabama as well. A good addition to Philadelphia. They got to figure out their quarterback situation and settle in. I don't think they're settled in still with their quarterback situation. So, and then the Chicago Bears wisely pick up Justin Fields at quarterback from Ohio State. Again, I'm shocked that Fields didn't go higher up. I thought the Jets would pick him up. He's a 5-star rated quarterback, but they didn't get him, and he fell down far enough where Chicago was able to pick him up. And then, of course, we round out with the Cowboys. They picked up Micah Parsons at linebacker. So interesting. I have not watched the draft. I will tell you, as you watch our show, I will not continue to watch the draft. I just really don't care. It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
The only team that I've watched is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's because my boy stood up, went out there on the field, put his hand across his heart, and that's why I did it. He did it amidst everybody else not being there.
Not doing it, yeah.
And so that's why I do it. So anyways, but outside of that, don't really care. Can't wait for college football to start.
Amen.
Excited about
Yeah.
that.
Bring on the college football.
Also, we didn't get to talk about this yet, but the Baylor Bears lose one of its top.
Ooh, who'd they? I haven't heard this.
Mulkey, she's gone.
What?
LSU. Yeah, happened what, 2 weeks ago, a week ago? Something like that. Yeah, I forgot
Oh
to talk
my
about it.
gosh! We have,
I don't know how
how
Baylor.
Did we not talk about that?
Well, because I forgot. But I don't know how Baylor lets her go.
I am floored.
Don't know
that
how they let her go.
happened.
I mean, I'd make her the highest paid coach at Baylor
I
University.
figured she was.
I would.
Yeah, I mean,
To hell with
that-
women's
I
athletics
mean,
versus men's athletics.
when
She'd be up
you've
there with
got
the football
somebody
coach.
Who's that good of a coach? Oh my goodness, yeah.
You ready for
I'd be
this?
like, you name your price.
Hey, one of the few women's basketball programs that packs the arena every home
time.
game.
Oh, we took the kids when they were little, when they were playing in the, I think it was like Elite Eight or something, to American Airlines Center, and a great time. And literally, we were up in the nosebleeds, and we were lucky to get those seats because everybody was there in green and gold. I mean, just cheering on. And that was when Brittany, the really tall one who had like the 6'2" wingspan, Brittany Briner, somebody help me out with that. Anyways,
I don't know.
yeah, wow. I would have said literally name your price. And here's she always dresses so cool.
Well,
here's your wardrobe, allowance.
For me, she's like the coach out of Tennessee. You just don't let her go.
She's
She basically passes away in the job.
Who do they get? Yeah, it would have been like you're here until
And I can't remember the
don't
gal's
coach
name.
anymore.
Pat Summit.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Pat
Pat,
Summit.
yeah.
You let her pass away in the program,
Yeah, just
and she goes out a hero for the program. She's dedicated her
Wow.
life. People don't realize how hard it is to be a coach
oh my goodness.
at the high school level,
Much
alone
less
the
the
college
college
level.
level. Yeah.
and the strain on your family.
Oh,
You
yeah.
let them go out
I'm shocked.
a hero when they're like that.
I'm
Coach
really
says Mulkey
shocked.
wanted a new arena at Baylor for 5 years. Also, she's a Louisiana girl from Louisiana Tech. Coach, I don't care. You build her the arena like they
You
built
do-
the
yeah,
football
you want a new arena,
stadium,
you've got it.
and you keep her. You don't lose a Mulkey. The Baylor program, I doubt, recovers.
I don't.
I've said
Well,
it.
it'll never be the same. It'll
I've
never
said
be
it.
the same.
I've said it.
Yeah. Wow.
No, I'm just telling you, I've said it.
Yeah. Hey, vote tomorrow. Tomorrow is election day. Local elections matter. Your school board. Some of you will have mayoral races like here in Plano, also McKinney area, and then also those city council races. Makes all the difference in your daily life. So get out and vote. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Do not miss a voting opportunity.
All right, there you go, Lathan. Thank you for joining us. As
Anytime.
always, we
Love
love having you.
y'all.
This crew loves having you and your input. All right, we're out of here. Have a good weekend. If you want something to do, come help me clean house.
Good times.
I'm doing it Saturday. Call me.
Woo!
Private message me. If you're bored,
Yeah.
holler at me. I'm cleaning house.
Have a blessed weekend, love y'all.